Why I love this podcast is because it's one thing to experience culture, but it's another thing to archive it. We need the stories to be told.
Our priorities say a lot about where our headspace is at.
I really think it's about relationships.
The only thing stopping anybody from getting what they want is themselves. You just don't want it bad enough.
What's up, y'all? This is Bella Fiasco, and you're listening to Creative Ambiance.
Let's get it. Cheers in. Cheers.
This is the yap juice.
The yap juice.
This will make me yap a little bit more than I should be.
Spill the tea juice. What's good, creatives? Welcome back to Creative Ambiance.
I'm joined today by Long Beach's very own Bella Fiasco. How you feeling today, Bella?
I'm good. I'm excited to be honest. I haven't been on a podcast in a bit, so I'm excited to get into some stuff.
Yeah, you were saying that earlier, and I feel like you're gonna have a lot to say because of that reason.
Maybe either too much to say or just enough to say. I feel like I've kind of been going off the rails on social media, talking a little bit of shit. So this is like great timing for that because I need an outlet for that.
Yeah, this is like a live Twitter feed,
literally,
where you can express how you feel.
Mind you, I've gone through so many eras on Twitter where I'm the ranter, I'm the venter, I'm the shit talker, and then I go I disappear for like a year on there.
That's
I've gone through different fucking eras on Twitter.
You sound like Kanye. Just coming on. No, you're not Kanye. You're not Kanye. But it sounds like Kanye
a little
concept
bit.
of like coming on, a little bit, talking his shit.
A little bit. Like even my agency, my past agency, like I've had someone tell me like we need to calm down a little bit on Twitter because we have a brand to protect. But also I'm just very like what you see is what you get with me. I'm an open book.
Yeah.
Like, I will say what's on my mind.
Please do. I like that the best when people say what's on their mind. Yeah.
But I do like to think that it's also tasteful. I'm not disrespecting anybody. I'm not overstepping. I'm just speaking my mind and what I would like to say is in a tasteful manner.
So you have boundaries.
Like I'm open, I'm blunt, I'm very forward, but to a certain degree, I'm not like disrespecting anybody. I hope not. Shit, maybe I am. Who fucking knows?
There's always going to be somebody that's going to feel offended.
Someone's always going to be affected or whatever.
That's a great point to start off with. I was curious. You just mentioned like having agency team. Do you still have a team? Do you have management? Or do you represent yourself? Right.
I am. I left the agency literally just a couple of weeks ago.
Wow.
So I'm back independent. But before that, so I jumped in that agency during the pandemic, like coming out of the pandemic, actually, when like everything started to open back up.
Wow.
I jumped in that agency. But before that, I was independent for like a decade.
So you're used to it. It's not
I'm
new
used to it. This is nothing new. Like I've always done it independently. I work better independently. As a matter of fact, it's both a blessing and a curse. I always say like I suck really bad at delegating tasks.
Me too.
I see that. I literally see that. This being a one-man show and how well everything is like put together, the production, I see it. I don't know what your sign is, but it's a very Virgo.
I'm like 2 days before Tony, actually.
Okay.
Yeah. Same energy.
You like how I'm asking, like I don't know anything about signs other than mine.
Yeah,
I'm a Virgo, and I only know that because whenever I say I'm a Virgo, people are always like, yeah, no, I could tell. Being like hyper independent, being very organized, being very meticulous to detail, and that's why I like doing everything like on my own.
Well, it makes sense. I'm similar. I don't know much about other signs but my own, but if it resonates with you, it must mean we know our own shit.
You know what I mean?
Exactly. No, but I definitely want to touch on that a little bit later about like your experience with managing yourself and just being like a one person team that wears multiple hats, because I think it's important to talk about. Yeah. But first off, I just want to say thank you for coming on. You are somebody who I've wanted to have on for a while. I was telling you off camera, there's a lot of people that are your peers that say really good things about you. Like you're a good DJ.
I love that.
Yeah, you're nice, easygoing, easy to get along with.
I love that.
Yeah, talk your shit. I feel like that's a good...
I appreciate that.
Those are good attributes to have. Yeah. Why do you think people say that about you? Why do you think that's your perception amongst people?
What, that I'm nice?
Well, just that people have good things to say about you in general, I think.
Oh my God, it sounds so vague, and you've probably heard this a million fucking times, but like, it's really just like being me, I guess.
Okay.
Like what I said off the camera, like what you see is what you get with me. Like my personality comes out like the moment you meet me. And I really don't have any other way to say other than like, I'm just me.
Authentically yourself.
Authentically myself in how I present myself and how I present my work and my branding. Like even like branding, right? Like you would think that the word branding would mean that things are strategic. You
Right.
create this identity for yourself. And to me, it's like what people ask me, like how I do so well with branding. I'm like, I don't have an answer for you because it's literally just how I feel and how I am. And that's what I put out.
So your brand is literally
It's
you.
And honestly, it probably sounds so fucking cringe and corny.
I don't think so.
I hope not, because I don't know how else to explain it. When people are like say like new DJs that are trying for like, they want me to be like their mentor or something. And I'm like, I literally don't have like a formula to give you, because what worked for me might not work for others.
Because there's only one you.
Yeah.
And if your brand is you, how is somebody else going to like, how are you going to tell somebody else how to be you?
Absolutely.
That's a good point.
Like I couldn't give you a cheat code because again, what worked for me might not work for you, but it's literally just, I have always been 100% me.
I like that.
You know, whether it's like what people see on social media, what they see when they meet me in person, like it's all consistent on all outlets. And I think, I don't know, like that works for me, but it might not work for others.
Well, maybe the advice there then is to be yourself, whoever that person is.
Right, but you know, you hear that all the time.
Yeah.
And it's like, can I really be myself? Like, what if I was Kanye?
Oh, and that
That would be detrimental to my career. I couldn't really be myself. You know what I mean?
That's a good point.
I think that's my point with like, it's not going to work for everybody, but it works. It worked for me all along. And like I always say, I think the easiest thing to be is yourself, so that you don't have to upkeep or maintain anybody else but yourself. Does that make sense?
No, it makes total
sense.
sense.
It's not hard for me to do things authentically because I show up as me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, 100%. And I think people can see that, and it's refreshing, especially in today's day and age where you have so many people fronting online, you know?
Right.
And you work in an industry where there's a lot of that like snaky shit that's going on. So I've heard.
Oh, absolutely.
So
of course.
like I think the authenticity, you know, people can see it, and I
Yeah.
think maybe that is why people say great things about you, you know, behind your back,
I
and
hope
you're
so.
well received.
That's when people share things like that with me, I'm always just like almost shocked, as it's like growing up, I've always been you need to calm down.
Really?
You need to like dial it back. You need to like, you know, like again, like maybe too honest, maybe too forward, maybe too rough around the edges. So like when people do appreciate that part of me or that side of my personality, I appreciate that because I'm like, okay, I could keep being me.
Yeah.
Everything's good. You know what I mean?
It's a reminder that what you're doing is working.
Right.
Yeah. That's awesome. Talking about like your upbringing and growing up, I saw that you had a lot of musicians in your family. Your dad was an inspiration for you musically, right?
Absolutely.
So how was it like growing up in that dynamic, and how did it influence, you know, the start of your career?
I've literally just been so 100% like immersed in music since I was born. I always say that like I didn't even realize how cool it was that I grew up in a musically inclined family.
Yeah.
Obviously up until I started reaping the benefits of it as a DJ.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like even like my taste, like when I was younger, I would always be like, is it cool that I like this or that I like that I enjoy this? Sometimes I'd even be embarrassed that like I liked certain songs and my peers didn't. Like I always felt like I was musically advanced, or just like my taste in music was just so varied that like my peers didn't understand it or didn't get it. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
you felt like almost outcasted
A
because
little
of that?
bit,
Okay.
you know, but then now that I'm older and now that I'm reaping the benefits as a DJ in my career, I'm like, damn, like I'm so glad my dad was listening to, you know, Marcus Miller in the house. Like my mom was listening to Sade when she was cleaning the house every day. Like, but these were like artists or like songs that I didn't appreciate at the time.
Right, because
I'd
like
always
what
be like-
13-year-old or
Right. I always be like, Sade again, like turn this off, mom. And now that I'm older, it's like what I listen to every day.
Yeah.
You know, like 60s soul, like Barbara Mason, like Sam Cooke, like all of that shit. That's what I listen to now outside of the club all day, every day. But when I was younger, I'd always be like, is it weird that I like this stuff? And my peers would be like, you're a fucking grandma, bro. Like, why are you listening to this shit? At the time, I would be embarrassed. Like when I was younger, I used to be embarrassed about that shit.
I can understand why.
You know?
Yeah.
But now it's literally my entire identity is music, right?
Yeah.
And my entire identity is how my parents raised me in the household.
Like
Just
the
always
foundation
around,
of it.
Yeah, always around music, always around instruments. My dad, I was born and raised in the Philippines, so
Oh, no way.
yeah, my
Oh,
dad would
shit.
take me. My dad was in a band back in the
Okay.
'90s, so he would take me to all their shows, and they were pretty prominent and like famous band back in the '90s.
In the Philippines?
Yeah, so he would take me to all their shows, and there's no age limit back then. Like you could take me to the club, and we would be there till like sun up.
Oh, that's crazy.
I'd be in the office like sleeping while my dad's like rocking out on stage. You know what I mean? Like, again, those were things that I didn't appreciate at the time. But now that I'm older, I'm like, oh my God, it literally created exactly who I am. Like it's in my DNA because I grew up exactly the way that I did. You know what I mean?
That's so fire.
But again, it didn't. Also, it gave me sleeping disorder.
Sleeping
Like
disorder.
I've had a sleeping disorder my entire life.
Why did it give you sleeping? Because you were out so late. at the
I would be
club.
out with my parents at clubs and shows till like 6 a.m.
What trained you then for this nocturnal life that you have to this
You know,
day then?
exactly.
Yeah.
For every bad thing, there's a silver lining, or for every con, there's a pro. I would always be like, dude, because my mom also has insomnia.
Oh,
So
she
like,
does.
yeah, and I would always just be like, this is the one thing that I just hate that I took after you guys is like
Yeah.
my sleeping disorder. But then now
God,
that I'm
damn.
DJing, I'm like, thank God, because I can survive in these clubs. I don't do drugs. I don't do none of that. Well, I mean, I drink, but
Yeah.
say no
the
to
wine.
drugs. Yes, clearly. Nothing against drugs, but like I never
Right.
had to do any of that stuff. And I'm like, you know why? Because of my sleeping disorder. I
Yeah.
can last longer than everybody else.
You run off of your internal battery.
Literally.
Then that's a good secret power to have. It's funny how that comes around full circle for you.
Everything. That's why I'm a firm believer in literally everything happens for a reason. Like
Yeah.
how I was raised, even if there were certain things that I was like, maybe I shouldn't have been raised that way. Maybe I should have been in the club till 6 a.m. As a child. Maybe I shouldn't have been around like really loud music that it would create trauma to my ears. And I feel like I'm deaf now.
Your ears good now, or
I'm 30% deaf in my left ear.
Oh.
And I took that test back in like 2013, maybe,
Oh,
when I
shit.
did a Bose campaign.
12
They-
years ago?
Yes, probably 12 years ago, around then. I took a hearing test then, and I was 30% deaf in my left ear. So I don't know. It might even be worse now.
Maybe I would assume so.
I can't like talk on a phone in my left ear. I can't,
damn.
when I wear my earphones when I'm DJing, my headphones, it's always got to be in my right ear. Again, like little things like that.
Yeah, little things. When did you move to Long Beach? Or like what? How old were you when you moved to the States?
I was 10, 11.
Oh, damn. So
around
you were in
then.
the Philippines up until 10,
Yes.
11. Wow. Okay.
That's why I say born and raised. Some people will say, no, you were raised out here if you went to middle school and high school, like out here.
Yeah.
But I only say born and raised because I'm still very much culturally like traditional Filipino. Like
Right.
every time I think of my childhood, I think of the Philippines. I think of like running around in the streets in the Philippines.
I could imagine if you've been out there since like 11. That's a
Yeah.
long time to be.
Exactly.
Very
I still
interesting.
speak Tagalog, understand Tagalog, like, still speak to my entire family in Tagalog. Like,
And you champion
Very
the culture
Filipino.
to this day.
Oh,
so I could
absolutely.
see, yeah.
absolutely. I always say I've been championing being Filipino and having Filipino pride before it became cool to be a minority.
Yeah.
And that'll ruffle some feathers. But like when I first came out here, obviously went to school in Long Beach, there were probably only 3 Asians in the entire school.
Of Long Beach.
You know what I
Wow,
mean?
okay.
And this was like pre woke era, pre anti bullying era. Like I went through racism.
People don't realize and kids were mean. Kids were meaner than adults.
Bro,
They didn't give a fuck.
Oh my God. Like I was Jackie Chan. I was always
Oh my
Jackie
gosh.
Chan. I was Ching Chong. Like
Damn.
I went through the whole racist bullying era and I never not like championed like being Filipino.
You still stood on business
I
back then.
was still very much like, I'm proud of being Filipino. Like I had an accent and everything, probably still do, but like never backed away from like being true to like who I was like culturally. And then I can't even point out when that happened, when the whole like just embracing your race and your ethnic background. I don't even know when that happened, but it became cool later on.
I think it became like quote unquote like you're saying cool probably like COVID time
Am I
or like a little bit
tripping,
before.
right?
No, things shifted for
Yes.
sure.
I
Yeah.
would always say I know I'm not tripping because I felt it. Like I felt my fellow like Filipino peers who I feel like they kind of like backed away or shied away from like being Filipino. and then something happened. Something shifted where it was cool to have like a cultural background.
Interesting.
It was cool to be like not just American. You were also something else. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and it was quote unquote cooler to even be diverse.
Yeah,
like now.
exactly.
So it's interesting what caused that shift. I'd be curious to see. I'm sure there's some people that have done studies out there on like what exactly
there
caused
has
it.
to be. Like there's this thing in the Philippines called the colonial mentality, where like you just wanted to be westernized so bad you were embarrassed of like having any Filipino like background.
Wow.
You know, like, dude, I moved out here with like, you know, other friends that I also went to school with in the Philippines who like 2 years later were like, I don't know how to speak Tagalog anymore. And I'm like,
damn,
you're fake. Again, like
Embrace
the westernized
your-
mentality, like they want to be embraced by the westernized like culture so bad that they like are so quick to erase like their real, you know, ethnic background.
Maybe it's media that had.
It's gotta
somebody-
be.
Yeah, it's gotta be media.
It's gotta be. And then again, like now it's like cool to be a minority
it's interesting. And also like in today's modern world, I also think that we have a different perception than people that live in like Kentucky or like, you know, the mid.
Right.
I've heard that it's still like pretty racist over
Oh my
there.
God,
Like
yeah.
nothing ever changed.
We are definitely in a bubble. Living in major cities like LA, New York, I don't know, Chicago, Hawaii maybe. Like we are definitely in a bubble, because then I'll go to like middle states and I'll be like,
for like shows and shit.
yeah, and I'll be like, oh, I stand out. Not only do I stand out, they probably look at me like I'm like crazy with like red hair, tattoos, and just, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Asian girl, like I don't know. We definitely are blessed to live in these major cities where we're literally in a melting pot of like a bunch of different like ethnicities and cultures.
I agree.
We're spoiled.
Could you imagine like growing up in like Kansas or some
No.
shit? No shade at Kansas, but just like
Same. No,
you know.
I'm thinking of like the most middle state I could think, like Iowa. Like I can't imagine. Not at all. Like LA, we get the boast of, I mean, the boast, the best of
Combined
any
them.
world, like living in cities like this.
Yeah. Shout out to LA and California.
For real. And New York. Oh my God.
Oh yeah, and
Such a sexy city.
I love New York too. Speaking of just like the topic of minorities, so being a woman DJ, right? I read some articles about you coming out, and I know that was one of the things that propelled you earlier in your career, still important to you to this day. But what type of challenges did you face being a woman DJ in the music industry, especially when you were starting out, when things were a little bit different?
Being a woman?
Yeah.
Oh my God. I feel like that's a great topic to talk about now in this day and age, like in the climate of things that we're in right now. Because when I was coming up, again, I think I'm hitting like maybe 15 or 16 years.
Wow.
When I was coming up, that glass ceiling was definitely still there. Mm-hmm. And when I say glass ceiling, I meant like if you were a female DJ, you were either one or the other. You were either like a crazy scratch turntablist or you were like an EDM DJ. And I feel like when I was coming up, I didn't know where to like place or fit myself into, because my idea of a DJ was definitely like, my idols were the beat junkies. That's what my dad introduced me to. That's what my uncle introduced me to. That's what I was introduced to coming up, which
Like
is the
Rat,
beat junkies.
DJ, Chop.
Yeah, absolutely.
Mellow.
All of them. My mentor is Melody. So that was my idea of a DJ. And when I was coming up, it was like right around the era of like, I guess the EDM boost. So like you either wanted to be in that scene or the other. And now,
Like the scratchier, like
Yes.
beat head scene.
exactly.
Okay.
But then I'm like, I'm not sure I fit into one or the other like completely, right?
Yeah.
Because I'm like, I'm not like a crazy scratch turntablist. And aside from like the hip hop scene, I also loved house music. Like I didn't know where to put myself. So I always was just like, I'm just going to do what I do. And then wherever the wind takes me is where I go. I didn't have a plan. Although I had a vision board, but like I realized now 15 years in, like my vision board changed literally every 2 years.
Really?
I went from wanting to be on Power 106 to wanting to be.
Like DJ Charisma or
Oh,
something. like
Charisma
that.
was like my idol.
Yeah, I could imagine.
You know?
Yeah.
And Felly Fell took me under and was like, you know what? Come into the meetings. Maybe we can get you on the radio. See how you like it first. Get your feet wet. I did a couple of radio appearances, and I would go to the meetings on Wednesdays, and I literally out of nowhere was just like, I don't think I want to be a radio DJ. Now, mind you, that was at the top of my vision board. I wanted to be on Power.
That was like making it. For
That was
you
that
at
was
the
like
time.
my end goal. My end goal was just to be on the radio. And then like out of nowhere, like I'm just like, never mind. Like I don't think this is my creative outlet.
Did it take
One-
you trying it or just being exposed to it to understand
yes,
that?
I think being exposed to exactly what being in a room felt like, and I don't know. Here's one thing. I realized one thing about me. I'm like afraid of monotony.
Of just same thing every day.
Same thing
Yeah.
every day in everything that I do, and I think which is why I have been really good at motivating myself when it comes to like maintaining my career is because I'm scared to have a 9 to 5. Again, nothing against a 9 to 5. I just know that I couldn't do it. I need my creative outlet all the time, and I'm very afraid of monotony.
So that almost motivates you to like go harder than to not
Yeah.
fall in a situation where you have to have a 9 to 5.
Exactly, because I promised my parents also. I'm like,
Oh.
I promise you guys that I can make it. I can provide for myself and take care of my family doing this.
Did they not want you to be a DJ?
No, you know what? Again, I feel like I'm just a very rare case. My parents were always so extremely supportive. If like if you've been following me for a while, you would know like how supportive my parents were. My parents were very like, you know, when I realized that I didn't want to continue on with college, they were very like, okay, but you have to put your 100% into this shit, and you have to be super good at it. You can't just be like mediocre at this. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I was always like, in the beginning, it was always, oh, I have something to prove to my parents. I want to make my parents proud. Then it became, now I have to prove it to myself because I don't want to go back to school and I don't want to land on a 9 to 5. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And mind you, to this day, I still have that fear that I'm, you know, I might end up doing that. But then now I'm like, I've done it for 15 years. I can keep going, and I'm gonna keep going.
You're almost proof to yourself at that point that it's possible, because maybe back
Yes.
then when you were younger, you didn't have that proof. That's maybe that self-confidence that this was possible.
Yes,
and now it's just
exactly.
like you're your own role model.
Exactly. But also the imposter syndrome is still there. Like it still exists.
Yeah.
I'm still very like, am I doing a great job? Am I making my parents proud? Like, am I like, you know what I mean? But again, like all of those things need to exist in order for me to stay motivated. I'm very like, I guess this sounds really weird to say, but like negativity really does like push me and inspire me and motivate me. Like if someone doubts me, I'm gonna go harder. If my parents don't think I'm doing great, I'm gonna go harder. If I'm scared that like my friends are, you know, leaving me behind and I'm just stuck and I'm being idle, I'm gonna go harder.
That's a great trait to have, because some people would view that in the other way, and it's really good that you don't, where it's just like, this is a lot of pressure and anxiety, and like, I'm just gonna
crumble,
quit. Yeah.
I same with like, I always say I perform best under like procrastinating.
Really?
Which is such a bad trait. It's again, like I say, it's both a blessing and a curse, because when I'm procrastinating, the pressure is there. So it's like pushing me, and I end up like producing my best work. You know what I mean? Like I love deadlines. I love being on a time crunch. Again, I don't know if these things are good. I don't know why my brain is wired this way, but I perform well under scrutiny, under being judged, under a time crunch. You know what I mean? I just always need something to like push me.
Yeah. Are you okay with that trade-off of like the stress that it might bring you for the rewards?
Absolutely.
Okay.
That's why I'm always like, yeah, I'm going to procrastinate, because I know now that when I do procrastinate, I produce my best work,
Yeah.
you know?
Cool. Well, it seems like you know yourself best, and if that's what gets you going,
Exactly.
that might not work for somebody else, but it works for you.
Exactly. That's why I like what, going back to what I said during the beginning, like, I don't know if I'm the best at giving advice, because I just do what works for me.
Yeah.
And I'm a rare case in a lot of things that I've done have been able to maintain for myself in like the last 15 years. You know what I mean? Like even like something as little as like, I'm just so like grateful that I haven't had time to like slow down in my career. Like I haven't really had like a plummet. I've been very just like steady. So now when you talk about success, some people might not see my trajectory as successful, but to me it is, because my goal was always longevity. My goal was always consistency. My goal was always street cred. My goal was always just like something steady. You know what I mean? I never wanted something that was like up and down. Like I'm super popular. I'm famous. I'm making it.
Like you're headlining some crazy festival. Like that wasn't.
Yes.
On the,
and again, I compare that to like my personal, like what I go through personally. Like I always know that if I go up really high, there's nowhere but like down.
Yeah.
You know, like even with mental health, like I don't like really high highs because I know it's going to come down. I'm scared of that.
That's why drugs aren't good for you.
And that's exactly why I don't do drugs.
Yeah.
One, I'm paranoid. Two, I overthink. I overanalyze. I don't want to go up because I know I'm going to come down. I just like steady.
So you stay
like
even,
a steady pace.
You stay even keel then. Does that reflect in other parts of your life, not just career wise? Like you like to just be even keel personality wise and the way you interact, or
I think because I like safety. I do like a steady pace. I don't know. That one's a little more deep.
Okay.
But I do know that in my career, I always knew that my goal was going to be consistency and longevity. And I knew that the only way to get there is, again, I hate that it sounds so cliche, but just being authentic. Like I know that I could have had overnight success like opportunities. Like I've had an agency offer me like, hey, we could literally turn you into like an overnight EDM sensation, but you're going to change exactly how you look. You're going to do this, you're going to do that. And I was like, and I was promised money. I was promised residencies. I didn't want it.
Cause why?
That would have compromised who I was.
Oh, okay.
I didn't want to do anything that I didn't want to do. Again, like goes back to my personality and who I truly am. I'm stubborn. I'm going to be exactly who I am. And you can't tell me what to do. You can't tell me how to dress. You can't tell me how to look. You can't tell me what to play. I'm very much strict on who I am and who I want to be.
That's admirable. Yeah. You're not going to sell out for just a bag or...
It's admirable once you see the product, right?
Yeah.
But obviously, like when I'm in that phase, I go through like doubting myself. I go through like,
imagine.
Am I robbing myself of like these big opportunities? Should I have like grabbed the dangly shiny toy in front of me and have been an overnight sensation? Should I have just been, you know what? I'm going to do that because I want money, or I want to be on a billboard. I want to be on a TV show. But like, again, me knowing that I'm very true to myself and knowing that in the end of all this, the most fulfilling thing for me is going to be, did I stay true to myself? Because again, like I don't have to maintain anything if I'm exactly who I am.
Yeah.
If I turned into an EDM DJ and became an overnight sensation and I realized I literally don't even like the shit that I'm playing, then what am I going to do after that?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I come down and then I'm sad and I'm not me. And then people forget about me because that was just a fad or a trend. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I didn't realize that like the I guess the formula and the road that I took, I didn't know that it was going to be, I didn't exactly know it was going to be the right road.
Right.
Until now, like 15 years in, and I realized, damn, I'm still doing it.
Yeah.
And like going back to what I said, I never like plummeted. It was steady. And to me, that's success.
So I have a question on that. Did you start off like, maybe you said this and I didn't catch it, but did you start off with that goal of consistency being what you wanted? Or did you find that out later when you look back at your career and be like, hold on, I'm winning because I've had this career trajectory of like consistency and stability?
I think in the beginning, I wanted it to be consistent for the simple fact that I didn't want to go back to school. And I wanted to tell my mom I can make consistent money and provide for myself with this consistent, however I was making money DJing, right?
I see.
So in the beginning, it was very much like clockwork. Like I need 4 gigs in 1 week. I need to pay my bills.
Everything.
Exactly. I need to pay my bills and blah, blah. But then when I started putting more attention into, my branding and like having more intention to, opportunities that I'm accepting, that's when I realized I can create my own formula to this. And my own formula was, again, my goal was going to be longevity and consistency.
Right.
I wasn't going to, you couldn't sell a shiny toy in front of me if it meant an insane amount of money, if it wasn't true to who I was.
Yeah. And you've been creating your own formula since the very beginning because, like you said, you didn't have a whole lot of, people to look up to that were doing what you wanted to do. So you just started doing things your own way yourself. So why wouldn't you continue to do that? And I also think, going back to what you were saying earlier, living your life with doubting things and decisions is like very natural, but it's not a very sustainable way to live your life, because it's like, if you're always looking at decisions like, well, I could have done that and that could have been better. It's like that saying where you never make the right choice, you make the choice right.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? And it, like, I
love that.
That's a great positive mentality that you have to do things that way.
Yeah.
And I saw a quote that you said as well, where you said, you're a visionary first before anything else, right? Before being a DJ. So what does that mean to you?
To me, it's just, I'm going to make a way no matter what. Whatever outlet I decide to put my heart and my soul into, I'm going to make a way. That's why, like, when my, say, like, someone will ask me, what's like your 10-year plan? I'm like, I couldn't tell you, because my 10-year plan 10 years ago is nothing like what I'm doing now. Again, like, going back to what I said, like, 7 years ago, my vision board, at the top of my vision board was, I wanted to be on Power. I wanted to be a radio DJ. And then just in a month, that changed. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I wanted to be a tour DJ for an artist. Now I realize I can't imagine being a tour DJ, because what would I do if I'm not at clubs playing the shit that I wanted? If I'm just doing the same 5-minute sets before the artist goes, like that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Like, to me, a visionary would be, I'm going to make a way no matter what, even if the tides were changing, even if the climate was changing, like, I'm going to make a way no matter what.
Okay.
Like, that to me is what it means. Like, even during the pandemic, when all the clubs obviously shut down and, like, we had no work, I went back into painting, because that was my first love.
Oh, really? Painting?
That was my first love. Went back to painting. I was doing commissioned paintings, making money out of literally just painting for people.
Oh, shit. So you're making money from it too?
Yeah,
you're
like, I didn't have work.
Painter. Oh, yeah.
Again, that was me just making a way. I'm always going to find a way. I'm also just a fucking I'm a hustler at heart. Like, I'm going to make a way no matter what. My first hustle was, I always say, I feel like this was me, like, not even realizing that I was already, like, curating music, or that I was, like, low-key gonna be a DJ. In middle school, I always had all my friends knew that I had a knack for, like, curating, like, soundtracking, playlists. I was always up on music. I was always way ahead of everybody. So back in middle school, when we were burning CDs, aging myself, we were burning CDs and pirating shit off LimeWire.
Yeah, that piff.
My first hustle was slanging burnt CDs.
Oh, okay. Very valuable.
Right. And I'm like, dude, my friends back then they weren't asking what songs they wanted on it. They would always just be like, make me a CD.
Oh, because they trusted your ear.
They trusted my ear. Like, and I would always just be, that was what I was known for in middle school. Just like the girl that was always putting everybody up on music, like slanging CDs.
Oh,
hey,
shit.
I just downloaded this. I just burned this CD this morning before I went to school. Do you want it? $5. Like, that was it. That was my first.
For the low too.
That was my first. I feel like that was my first, like, introduction to, like, just my knack for curating or, like, soundtracking.
How funny, because that's just basically what you're doing now,
Literally
but on a different
DJing
level.
without the equipment. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's why, like, I remember, like, I ran into a friend from middle school, and he was like, dude, I literally still have burnt CDs that you used to, like, give out.
No way.
And I'm like, that's crazy, because I was like, who would have thought I'd become a DJ back then?
Yeah, you definitely you weren't thinking about that back then.
No, not at all. Like,
DJ.
Dude, I was just like, I wanted my MySpace to have the coolest songs. Like, you had the little player on MySpace. I don't know how old you are, but, like,
I'm 31. I just turned 31.
So you didn't have
31. Yeah.
You're not familiar with or did you have a MySpace?
No, for sure I had MySpace. Yeah, I was on that shit when I was like, when did they come out? Like early high school, late middle school.
Yeah,
I was on it
when we were all fucking, like, coders
you got a
and
code?
shit.
Yeah,
yes, and my biggest thing was always my music player was always updated every single Friday.
Every Friday,
that was my thing. You knew what's up because I had it on my music player.
Oh shit! Like, what's Bella gonna?
You know what I mean?
Today? Yeah.
What was I? Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what it was. But that was like my first introduction to like people appreciate my knack for music. And I didn't even realize it till like later on when I became a DJ. I was like, damn, that's literally the same shit.
Yeah, what a full circle way of
For real.
life. Yeah. Going back to the visionary topic, do you also take on that role like for your own career? Because I want to touch back on something we talked about earlier in this conversation where you were talking about how, you know, you wear multiple hats, you've been used to being your own team. So can you talk about like the visionary aspect for whether it's like creative direction for your own career, management for your own career, like branding and content, because that's something you take seriously, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
I'm definitely the type where I'm like, if the flyer doesn't fit my vibe, I'm not posting it, and two, I'm making my own.
Oh.
But you know, again, I throw my own party 444. I
Right.
do all my own graphics for that. I do all my own graphics for like anything that I promote that has my name on it. Obviously not the clubs that I do. They do their own flyers, but like again, I'm very meticulous with how I put myself out there when it comes to branding. But you know, again, it goes back to my knack for like creative design. Like I was doing graphic design as early as middle school.
Oh shit. So it goes hand in hand with the painting.
Everything goes
and
hand in hand. Like the Virgo in me does like to run a one-man show, but also because I could do it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, why would I delegate the task if I could do it myself? Why would I pay someone to do my graphics if I could do it myself? Why would I, you know what I mean? Like,
do you feel
blessing
like
and a
you
curse,
stretch?
though.
Yeah. Do you feel like you stretch yourself too thin sometimes because of that
blessing
reason?
and a curse when I do realize that I have deadlines to meet. And these are deadlines that I put on myself. And I'm just like scrambling. But again, goes back to procrastination is my best friend. Like I'm going to perform well. It doesn't matter if I'm stressed or that I'm like losing my shit. I'm going to get it done. And I know I'm going to get it done.
100%.
And I get so much satisfaction out of that.
I relate to that a lot
Yeah.
because I'm that same way with being like, you know, one man shop and wanting to do everything myself. And the reason why I do it is because like one, I feel like nobody can bring my vision better to life than
Exactly.
me. And two, I don't want to go through all the pain and training that it's going to take for you to like understand the way I want to do it. And I don't want to be an asshole to you. And like, I get very like strict on like, I want it this way and I want to do it this way.
Exactly.
So I relate to that a lot.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I also believe in like being idle in like your outlet or just not having your hands in your outlet makes you
Wait, what do you mean
like
by that?
lazy. Like I when I say I have my hands in my outlet, it whether it has to do with like DJing or art, when I have my hands in it, I'm forced to work all day every day. So my creative is forced to work every single day.
It's just different parts of your brain.
Yes.
I can't.
And if I'm delegating those tasks, I'm not sharpening my creative.
That's a good point.
You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
and then I become lazy, and then I get, and then I start to depend on, you know, other outlets that are like contributing to my art, which is like, oh, that guy is doing my, you know, my art cover or something. And then I get used to it, and then I never get my hands in it anymore. And then it becomes not my identity. Does that make sense?
That makes perfect sense.
Like,
yes.
people will always like, I'll have like followers that are always like, oh, I know you did that because they can just see that it's like, it has my flair and my twist to it.
Yeah.
And I love that. I even love like it, you know, every now and then I'll get people that are like, I love how you do your party graphics. It's very simple and bold. It's very true to who you are. And it's consistent on all platforms. Like, you know, it's my work and you know, it's my art because it's been consistent forever.
I love that. And it goes
know?
down to even like your look, like your hair, your outfits. It's like you could tell that's Bella Fiasco. And that's like, I don't feel like there's anybody that really looks like you. You're not trying to be anybody else.
See, only
know
you
what I
could
mean?
tell me. Only you guys could tell me that. I don't know that.
Yeah.
I just know that I'm doing what feels true to me. So when you say things like that, when others tell me things like that, I'm literally always just like, there it is. Like, that's exactly my goal.
Yeah.
And that's why I will never stop doing it the way I do it.
Yeah.
Until I go crazy, then sure. Like I said, like, I can't give that advice because it's not going to work for everybody. Like the whole running a one-man show, I don't suggest that. It's not going to work for everybody.
Yeah.
It'll work for neurotic people like us who are very meticulous to detail and just like very, like, I'm a control freak. It works for me. It works for people like that. works for like-minded people, but it's not going to work for everybody.
Yeah, it's true, because I'm sure that you and me, like for my aspect, I could hire videographers, I could hire graphic designers, editors, do it, take it over, you know, the whole gamut. But it's not A, what I want, and B, it's also like I enjoy putting together my own thing. Yeah, it's fun.
That's exactly. It's also because I enjoy it. Because before I started DJing, this is what I was doing.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
And you have the means. You could probably hire people, you know, to take care of things if you wanted to.
Right.
Yeah, but you don't necessarily need to.
Right, dude. Even at my parties, sometimes I'll go crazy because I'm just like running around the party for 4 hours.
Oh, because you're still doing all those
I'm still doing every little thing, like taking care of tables, taking care of the guest list, taking care of the staff, like taking care of the DJs, like, and also entertaining guests.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'm like, not sometimes actually, every single party, I'm always on edge and always just like so stressed out up until the last hour. I don't have fun at my parties until the very last hour. And I'm like, why do I do this to myself? But then at the end of the night, I'm like, it was worth it.
The reward.
The reward,
payoff.
exactly.
Yeah.
Maybe that's my drug. That's probably why I don't do drugs. So that's my drug. It's a very mental. It's like a mental cycle. Like I love putting myself through that. You know what? I'm literally just not having a realization.
Hell
Maybe that's my fucking drug, dude. Like I literally get such a high out of like putting myself through all that work and all that stress because I know that the reward is going to be super fulfilling.
Yes, absolutely. It's
The
like
procrastination, the stress, the putting, you know, all of that.
and like I did that shit myself.
Yes.
Like, you know, you can confidently say that.
Right.
You know, it was up to you. You're like a jack of all trades, Swiss Army knife type, you know?
Maybe. I don't know. Sometimes
I think you are, yeah.
Sometimes I go through like my creative blocks where I'm like, and I notice that it always happens when I will like DJ like 5 days in 1 week. I hit like a creative block and my sets are shit. My artworks are fucking shit. You know? Like
a slump.
Like burnout
almost.
is
Okay,
real.
Yeah.
But then again, the neurotic side of me is like, I'm not saying no to any gig because I know I can do it. The no sleep, traveling, all that, I know I can do it. So I'm gonna keep doing it. But then I'm like, burnout is fucking real, dude. Sometimes like I'm like, my sets are shit because you might not think it's shit, but to me, I'm not enjoying it anymore because I'm like playing the same shit over and over again.
Stressed out.
You know what I mean?
How sustainable do you think it is then, this life that you have and the way you live it and the way you do things? How sustainable is it?
In what aspect? Like in a health aspect, like mental or fitness, or
I would say more mental and also time length. Like how long do you think you could do things this way?
So I will say that after the pandemic, I did go through like just a whole mental turnaround. I went from being I need to be working every single day to I am now definitely picking and choosing what I'm doing because everything has to be intentional now. And not only that, but I also learned to, which I never did, romanticize every little part of my life.
Okay.
And that has translated into my career. And what I mean by that is like, I don't care if I'm out till 4 a.m, 5 a.m, I'm waking up at exactly 9:30 and I might go for a walk. I'll go for a run. I'll make myself breakfast. I'll cook myself lunch. Like in my idle days during the week, I like to do everything and anything that has nothing to do with work.
Okay.
And when I say romanticizing little shit, I literally will sit like on the grass or sit at a beach for a couple hours. And that to me is like all the dopamine that I need to get me through the rest of the week and then ready and refreshed for the weekend.
Okay.
And that again, the reason I say that I didn't like do those things before the pandemic is because I guess I didn't have like an appreciation for it. But I went through, you know, I feel like all artists and DJs go through like their like mental.
Oh, yeah.
You know, mental health.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it took me going through probably my lowest point to like really appreciate like romanticizing little shit.
Do you think it's because like you were living this life where you're going so fast and you know everything was so like fast paced and then the pandemic happens and then you just go from that to like you still and you're just like whoa.
I guess I don't even I mean, not to get deep into shit, but it's just personal stuff. It's like family things. It's like
not just
heartbreak.
that,
It's
okay.
it's all of those things. It was like your career during the pandemic. It's like everything was a wake up call. And again, like it sounds so cliche because I always used to cringe when people would be like, romanticize the little shit in life. And now it's literally, I don't care about the big things. It's the little shit that I care about the most. Like, I literally get so happy making myself breakfast in the morning. I get so happy cooking for people. I get so happy walking by the beach or like having my feet in the sand. Like all those little things make me so happy. Like calling my grandpa and talking to him for like even just 5 minutes. All of those things make me so fucking happy now. And it didn't take, it took like being at my lowest to like wake up and realize like, dude, these are literally the fucking things that matter. And the reason I say that like your personal affairs do play a huge role in your career is because now, like when it comes to like DJing, I'm always just like so happy to be there. You know, there were days where again, like it was like clockwork for me. I'd be like, oh my God, my fifth night in a row DJing. I'm just showing up like as a robot at this point.
I can see because
Like,
your perception of life was different.
It was different. Yeah. And now that I'm like literally like everything matters, all the little things make me happy. And I see the light in every little thing, every little part of my life. It totally translates in my creative space.
Because you're taking care of yourself outside
Exactly.
the music, and that's
Exactly.
translating. That kind of reminds me of like those memes where, you know, it talks about life's perception and just like, you know, there's one guy who's looking out that bus. And,
It's the bus.
Yeah.
The two sides to the bus.
He's looking out the window that's like beautiful flowers,
Yes.
sunny. The other side is like raining.
Oh my God.
Yeah, mountain. That's
Mind
what
you,
reminds
that
me.
meme is my favorite. I've saved so many of those memes because like it's literally so true.
It's so awesome that you found this part now, or this new perspective of your life, because some people don't find it, you know? Like some people go through
Exactly.
it and they just don't realize, or they don't come to the realization of what it is that they need to do.
Exactly.
Or just like practice it. Yeah. So it's dope that you found it.
And you really do have to find it on your own. Like if that's why I said like in my 20s, if somebody was telling me that, it goes in one ear and out the other. And now when I see someone going through the same thing, I always know there's nothing I can tell this person to get them out of it. They really just have to go through it and see it through on their own time, at their own pace, through their own eyes.
Yeah.
Like
a
that's
great way to put
really
it.
it. You know what I mean? Because like you could have told me a million times when I was going through depression that like you just need to get out there. You need to get you have it so good. The worst you can tell someone that's going through depression is you have it so good. Can you imagine what someone else is going through? Because everybody sees life through a different like lens. Like nobody is going through the same shit the same way.
Nah, 100%.
I always say you cannot tell somebody that you shouldn't look at it that way. Like someone else could have it worse. Like I always say like everyone's like bandwidth when it comes to like just going through anything at all is different.
Yeah.
And that has to do with how you were brought up. You know what I mean? Like I could have been, like I always say, like people that grew up with trauma, they can get through anything. They can, you know what I mean?
100%.
Went
Yeah.
through trauma, went through like, or was brought up with tough love, like all of that, they can get through anything. But just because you can get through that, the person next to you might not be able to because they weren't brought up in a loving household, or they might have been spoiled, so they never went through anything bad in their lives, so their bandwidth is like weaker.
So
They
this
can't-
thing that would be nothing to you is like a huge deal to them.
Yeah.
And that's just because of the life
Yes.
that they lived.
And I know that because it could be like, something like my little sister. I'd be like, I can't tell my sister, dude, stop crying over dumb shit. Stop crying over little shit. But it's like, no, because when I was, raising my sister when I was a big sister when my sister was growing up, the way that I wanted to raise her was, I want to protect her. I want to be soft and gentle with her, but I also wanted to give her like tough love. And she didn't go through the things that I went through. So like her bandwidth is different. I can't tell her, don't cry over little shit like that, because she's a little maybe like softer.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And it doesn't make sense to her.
Right.
Like,
so
it's real feelings she's having. It's
right,
not like
exactly.
yeah.
And I say that to say like I wasn't always like that. I'd be the type to like tell you like, dude, it's not that big of a deal. You know what I mean? Or like people go through worse shit. But then it didn't take me, it took me going through all of that to realize like everybody goes through shit differently, and everybody sees life through like a different lens.
Yeah,
you know?
100%. And I think that same mentality applies to you no matter what stage you're at in your life, because no matter what you're going through, and if you've been through even a hella amount of trauma, it's
Right.
like there's somebody out there that what you're going through would be nothing to them.
Yeah.
So like remember
Exactly.
that when you're looking at the person, that it's nothing to them.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. But I do like the transparency now, and like the climate that we're in. I love the transparency and like mental health.
Oh, in terms of it being more like celebrated,
Celebrated, taken care of, paid attention to. Like, I'm so all about that, because like I grew up in an era where you had to suppress all that shit and you couldn't talk about it.
Yeah.
And being from a Filipino family, like depression, anxiety, all of those things are Western diseases. Like those things don't exist back home.
No,
you
they
know,
don't.
it's
Yeah.
like, you have anxiety. Like, what are you talking about?
Yeah, like we
Take a nap. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
like we're like, or it's like we're struggling to keep the lights on, and why are you
Right.
talking about your mental health?
Yeah.
There's like bigger problems to that.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Get up and go to work. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Again, all of these things are like a blessing and a curse.
100%. I'm Mexican, and in Mexican culture, it's like you talk about your feelings, it's like your family makes fun of you. Like, you know what I mean? Like you're
Dude,
clowns. That,
absolutely.
like,
Like depression, are you kidding me? Going to see a therapist? What are you, a pussy?
yeah,
You know what I
that's
mean?
how it was. Yeah, when you were growing up.
That's why, like, I love all of that. I love like just the attention to mental health now. Like, I went through, again, like we were talking about off camera, we were talking about like my different eras on Twitter.
Yeah,
I went through an era on Twitter where I was like, damn, I was advocating for mental health a little too much, that like it just seemed a little somber. So to me, it was like I couldn't find the right like balance between I want to advocate for mental health and I want to be there for people who are going through the same shit without feeling like I'm like, I don't know, just like a
shoving
dark
it down
cloud.
people's. Or
You know,
okay.
right? You know, and again, I've had like peers that I look up to that have like pulled me to the side and been like, you don't think it's like hurting your brand, like how open you are with like your mental health or whatever? And I'm like, actually, at the time, I was like, yeah, maybe you're right. But now in hindsight, now that I'm out of it and now that people are seeing me in a different era and light, I'm like, this is like the example that I would need if I was going through that.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, she was literally, this bitch was just talking about fucking like not coming out of her room for a whole week last year. And look at her now, living her best life. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I would have wanted to see some shit like that.
100%.
So now in hindsight, I'm like, no, I don't regret any of that shit. Like, I will always be vocal and advocate for like mental health. But obviously, I understand that there's like, you do things to a certain degree, right? You can't just like, you don't want to be a dark cloud every single day. Like, you don't want like a somber vibe to, you know what I mean?
Yeah. It's just, it gets a little bit tired for people. Some
Yeah.
people don't want to, like some people don't want to just hear that 24/7.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But again, like I think like when I talk about like how my formula works for me and it won't work for everybody, like I feel like I don't know how to explain it. Like you get to see and know exactly what my personality is like just off what you see on social media. But also knowing me is knowing how private I am. Like everyone in my life and my close circle of friends and my family, they know exactly how private I am. But you wouldn't think that because I'm very open on social media.
Share a lot.
I share a lot, but I share my personality. I don't share my personal life. I share my personality.
That's the
You know what I
difference,
mean?
Yeah, between them.
Yeah, and I feel like people confuse the two because like people think they know me on social media, which you do get to know my personality a lot, but like my personal life is not shared at all.
So the Bella Fiasco is different. How'd you come up with the name Bella Fiasco, by the way?
It's so cringe. Oh my god.
It's okay.
It's so cringe, but I feel like I've talked about this so many times. So back in high school, I was like in a poet's workshop.
That's not cringy.
It's so cringe.
I didn't think so.
I feel like it is. It's so cringe. I was in a
poet's
poet's
workshop.
workshop and I wrote a poem literally called La Bella Fiasco, which I thought translated to a beautiful disaster. But it's not even the direct translation in Italian. It's literally not. So, but I wrote a poem that was La Bella Fiasco, and that was just how I got. But I was DJ Bella for like years.
Oh, just DJ Bella.
I was just DJ Bella. And fun fact, I wanted my DJ name to be Bella DeVille because I was obsessed with Cruella DeVille. Like that whole aesthetic is very me. So I was like, I'm gonna be Bella DeVille. And then I didn't know that there was a DJ DeVille. Shout out to DJ DeVille. I met him and I was like, I didn't go with my original like idea for a DJ name because you existed and blah blah. And I even wanted to spell exactly how he did, which with the D and the V capitalized.
Oh.
So yeah, I could have been Bella DeVille.
If it wasn't for him, you might have not be Bella Fiasco.
Right. And I was just like, let's just go back to Bella Fiasco. I wrote a poem about it. I was like, I feel like it makes sense and it rolls off the tongue. Like it was visually, again, like because I was a graphic designer, I was like, I feel like it visually looks good. Right amount of letters, right amount of syllables, different, like, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
I was like,
you thought through it.
I think it works.
I like it. It goes hard. I like it. It flows off the tongue, like you said.
I hope so. Cause like, you know how like sometimes DJs like go through like an identity crisis and they want to change their look, they want to change their name, they want to.
Yeah.
Thankfully, I haven't gone through that yet. But sometimes I do think, does Bella Fiasco sound cringe?
I don't think so. I can't see
Okay,
it,
let's
but
keep it that way.
Yeah.
We're just gonna keep it that way.
I can't
and move
see
along.
it, but people, you're attached to it, so you probably hear perceptions of it and your own opinions of it.
Yeah.
But even like that, or just some of the things you spoke on before, you are like constantly cultivating experiences for people, whether it be through 444, whether it be through your marketing and branding. Like you're not just a DJ who's like having sets, like you're cultivating experiences. So can you talk a little bit more about the art of, cultivating experiences and why it's so important for you?
Okay, so let me go back to how I started 444. I was already throwing parties pre-pandemic, and it was called Good Friday or Good PM, which means like good. Not Good Friday. Good PM, which meant like good evening. And me and my good friend Bret Hart, my birthday twin, we collabed on that, and we're both just very like, this is my very big thing. I always felt like I never had to do too much work to brand a party, for the simple fact that if you're a good personality, people will just naturally gravitate towards you.
Okay.
So when I became friends with Bret Hart, we were both just like, dude, you're such a good vibe. I'm such a good vibe. We're such a good vibe. If we throw a party, people will literally just come based off of the fact that because we're good vibes, the party's going to be a good vibe.
And did that hold true?
Honestly, for a lack of better words, I hate the word vibe these days, but literally for a lack of better words, like if you're a good vibe, people are going to come to your shit. And again, our branding, very minimal. We posted 2 flyers for one party and that shit was packed out the fucking door.
It sounds familiar. Was it at Lock and Key?
We didn't know it wasn't. It was at the old Blind Dragon, which is now Floor Room.
Okay.
And even that, it was hard for us to get like people out to like a Hollywood club. Like it's an SBE venue, so like it was hard for us to even get people out to an SBE venue because it was very Hollywood. Like they cared about the Hollywood bullshit.
Yeah.
So then after the pandemic, my whole idea for parties completely shifted because I was streaming, and my streams were very just an open book, like very open format, very personality based. Like I would do streams where I wasn't, sometimes I'm not even DJing, I'm literally just talking to my viewers or my followers. So when coming out of the pandemic, I wanted my party to be strictly just no bullshit, no frills, good music. I didn't want you to, and for the most part, the people that I knew that were going to attend my parties were going to be people that probably didn't frequent clubs before the pandemic, because it was my Twitch following. So I knew that I was going to charge cover. I knew that there wasn't going to be no guest list bullshit. I knew there wasn't going to be any door politics. You weren't going to judge anybody or stereotype anybody or profile anybody at the door. Everybody is free to come. And I knew that my format for my party was also going to be different.
Okay.
So when I was doing Good PM, it was very hip hop and R&B focused. When I wanted to start 444, I knew that it was going to be very similar to what I was doing on Twitch, which is very open format, like a lot of feel good shit. And when I say I always
Like
say that feel good is a category, because feel good is my category, because it could be feel good hip hop, feel good disco, feel good R&B, feel good house, anything that felt good, you're going to hear at a 444 party. So that's how I wanted to brand the party.
That's dope, because you're not putting yourself in a box.
No, not at all. And that's how 444 started. The way I wanted to brand it, literally, I'm like, it's very similar to my personality.
Well, do you have a special attachment to 4? Because I know you have a tattoo, right? That's like a 4
it's
right there.
honestly just, it's my favorite number. It's
Me too. That's my favorite.
No
Yeah,
way.
it's my lucky number. I was born on the 4th. Born at 4. That's my shit.
Okay,
I was born
I
at
love
4
that.
in sports. Yeah.
I love that.
That's my shit.
The queen and heart of my life is my grandma. Rest in peace, my grandma. But she was born on the 4th as well. So it stemmed from just her.
Okay.
But it also just became like my favorite number. I always say it's my favorite number because it's just, I don't have to explain to people like, oh, it's my grandma's favorite number, but she died. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
you don't want to fucking talk about that shit.
True.
But yeah, so and even that with branding, I was like, first it was going to be just 4. Like FOUR, the 4 party. And then I was like, everybody's into angel numbers. Let's turn it into 444.
That's okay.
And now I'm literally like, branding is going to be the easiest fucking shit ever because angel numbers is such a thing. You're going to see 444 at least once when you walk out the door.
And you're going to remind it of your party.
Yeah, you're going to be reminded of the party. Like all signs lead to my party. You know what I mean? Like, and
I
even
gotta
like
go this weekend because I keep seeing it.
Literally, I've been using that same fucking promo.
That's so
Since
smart.
444 started. And there will be weeks where I didn't get to work on a flyer and all I have to do is take a picture of 444 anywhere I see it. The Powerball,
Time.
like the time, anything. Someone will send me a picture. Oh, look what I see. And that's my promo for the whole weekend.
That is so
just
cool.
like 444. I'm like, it's so marketable. It's so easy. It doesn't take any effort. Again, like typography wise, graphic wise, it just looks so good. Like 444, that's it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I love it.
No letters, no words. It's not a phrase. It's not a slogan. It's just one number.
So when was it that you started it? What year?
When we came out of the pandemic, what is that?
2021?
Yeah.
2022?
Literally when the first fucking weekend that Lock and Key opened up,
Oh, shit.
I was like, yeah, we're going to throw a
Events.
party.
Damn.
Not only did we throw a party, but that party was a fucking, I'm so sorry to say, but it was a COVID spreader. Like everyone caught COVID from that party.
Well, yeah.
I was like, I'm so sorry. It is what it is. And it's like one of those things where it's like, I remember also like I would get like hate messages.
That was
like,
an interesting time.
oh
Yeah.
my God, it was such an interesting time. But also I was just like, dude, I've been out of work for years. I need to do it. I need to make money. And 2, we're all adults. We're all responsible for our own decisions. People are going to come if they want to come. People are not going to come if they don't want to come. And that's just what it was going to be.
And there was such an appetite for people to want to like get out and have fun and go to these type of events. Like it was a very special time, 2021, 2022.
It was interesting.
Of like, yeah, interesting. And then also just like people went to events wanting to have fun. Like nobody really wanted to have a bad time. They're just like,
yes. And everybody was like a caged animal let out. But also we were definitely like enforcing masks. Like I was still wearing masks. I was definitely the avid mask wearer up until it became uncool to wear a mask. And people were like, bro, why are you still wearing a mask? And I'm still like, no, I'm going to wear my mask. Like, I'm going to be outside, but I'm going to wear my mask.
Yeah.
But like, that was the thing with 444. I was just like, I felt bad starting a little too early. I feel like I did kind of start prematurely because a lot of people were very against the parties. But again, I'm like, dude, life goes on. Like, we're going to do what we do.
Yeah. It's all in the past now. And
look at us now.
Yeah, look at us. You're still here.
Partying.
Everybody is partying.
And I will say, I feel like the night or just the party scene in general, like shifted for the better after the pandemic. Like post-pandemic nightlife, post-pandemic, just like vibe is like so different now.
Yeah.
Like everyone's more open to just music. Like I don't know if that's like a personal experience for me, but I feel like now everywhere I go, everywhere I DJ, people are definitely way more susceptible to just like fun music, even if it was pop. Like there's like venues that I play now that I used to not be able to get away with pop music at these places because it was corny and cringy. And now it's like, dude, if we're going to have a good time, if it gets your hands up, if it gets your feet moving, we're about it.
People are less critical in the crowd.
Way less critical.
Interesting insight.
Like it's not. I don't know how else to explain it. Like I can get away with fucking Katy Perry these days. Well, back then I'd be like, oh my God, they're not fucking with this shit. Or like Lock and Key is very like, oh, why are you playing Lady Gaga? Or like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And now at Lock and Key or at 444, I'm playing Chapel Round. I'm playing, you know what I mean? I'm playing all of those things that we used to turn a side eye on. Like now it's like, as long as it sounds good and it's fun and it feels good, like everyone's about it.
That's got to be a certain level of freedom for you as a DJ, right? To just have that mentality before you play.
Oh, absolutely. Because my open format. I feel like there was also an era where like people didn't know what open format really meant. And it was cringe to call yourself an open format DJ, because some people would be like, you're not truly an open format DJ if you just mean you play radio hits, pop, house, and hip hop. Because like there was an era where like, oh, I'm an open format DJ, but all it meant was that you could play at a Vegas club and go from hip hop to EDM to pop.
Yeah.
But like I to this day, like I will probably call myself an open format DJ, with even if it came with like the stereotype or like negative connotation. Like, and I say that because,
well, then what is an open format DJ if that's not acceptable as an open format DJ?
Because my personal taste comes out in all my sets.
Yeah.
And I know for a fact that I'm well versed in 9 out of 10 genres that you could fucking name. Now, no, I will not play a country set. I cannot play a country set. But like when I say open format, like I feel like you would just have to like have known me and have seen me play in like the last 5 to 10 years to know what I mean by the fact that I'm an open format DJ.
Like you could go,
I've like had my hands in like so many different things,
from like hip hop to R&B to piano,
from like
to
festivals to like R&B
more.
parties to rock parties to fucking like anything. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's why like when I like times that I've done, say, trying to think, like say I've done parties for Serato or parties for Beat Junkies, I feel like those two outlets, Serato, Beat Junkies, and Pioneer, all the projects and shows that I've done for them, all were this is like where I can really be true to myself and do exactly what I want to do and play exactly how my mind works.
Okay.
So like in those sets, if you like go back to those sets, you'll hear literally anything from rock to blues, R&B, hip hop, soul, like anything that's just very Bella.
Yeah.
But like again, like I do those things when like I do more like curated stuff for like outlets like Serato, Pioneer, or Beat Junkies. Mm-hmm. But like I'm not doing that at the clubs.
Yeah,
a little sprinkle here and there. Like I'm still like I feel like the one thing that I will always sprinkle on all my sets, no matter where I am, is anything with soul.
Okay.
When I say soul, it could literally be anything from like Stevie Wonder to Aretha to anything. But it is a little more like subdued.
Yeah.
As opposed to like if I was doing something curated for Beat Junkies, or you know what I mean?
Right. That's understandable. But also like I think it goes back to the question of like curating an experience based off of, I guess, the gig that you're at, because I think a lot of DJs that I've talked to, at least, they are like, no, fuck that. I'm going to play what I want, when I want. But also it's like you want people to have a good time. Like you read the room, you know what I mean? Like you know where you're at.
And
it's okay to know that.
Yeah. And
I think at least.
I feel like that there's been a discourse on that for decades, right? Mm-hmm. Are you going to be the DJ that plays what you want, or are you going to be the DJ that just like abides by whatever the crowd wants?
So like finding a medium of the two. That's
what we always have, the 3-for-1 rule. Like 3 for you, 1 for me, or 1 for me, 3 for you. Like or vice versa, right? Like as much as I want to say I want to be the DJ that just shows up to a place and does whatever the fuck I want and plays whatever the fuck I want, that's not fun for me.
Yeah.
Like a huge part of my skill is walking into a room, reading the room, and nailing it. That's my fucking weapon. Like that's my weapon and that's my fun. So that's exactly what I'm going to go there to do. Like if I just showed up there and played what I want, that's not fun for me because I could do that in my room.
Yeah, 100%.
You know what I mean? Like even on Twitch, like when I used to stream, I'm like, just by like judging by the people in the chat, I know exactly what like my audience for that night is gonna want to hear, and that's where my satisfaction like comes from. Is like knowing how I can please the audience that I have in front of me.
And there's also something to be said about you caring about the audience and the crowd that's there, because you're not just like being selfish and playing what you want. Yeah.
Not only caring, but also like you get to really get to know like me and my quality as a DJ, because like that's a talent. Mm-hmm. Like I might not be the craziest scratcher, but I will fucking nail the vibe of the room. And that's my talent. Like that's my secret weapon. Like song selection is my secret weapon.
I was
The
gonna
DJ
ask you
after
what
me,
separates you from other DJs.
I really think it's just personal taste. And like I said, like you will just have to have either seen me in the last 10 years, have listened to my mixes, have watched my streams to know that my taste like comes across, and that's exactly who I'm going to be.
I love that. I was talking to Tony about this too, how taste is like an underrated quality of a DJ, because so many people talk about like, you know, scratching and technical aspects, or just, you know, I don't know, mixing and just different, technical aspects, but taste is something you can't teach.
You cannot teach taste. And I will say, shout out to one of my mentors, Z Trip. I did the Serato Fest during the pandemic, and the Serato Fest was virtual. It was like it was on Twitch. It was like on the front page of Twitch. And I remember I was playing After Scratch Bastard, who is like one of my goats, right? And I was just like, I don't know why I'm so nervous when I'm literally in the studio by myself. These people are not in front of me. There should be way less, I don't know, what would you call it? Like way less pressure, right?
Yeah, to be in that type of environment.
Yeah. But to me, I was even more nervous. Like my hands were clammy. I was just so nervous because I was going on after Scratch Bastard 1. I was like, the lineup was insane. It was like Jazzy Jeff, Scratch Bastard, like a bunch of my idols was on this lineup, and I was just so fucking nervous. And I knew, one, a platform, a visual platform like Twitch, a global platform like that, it gives people like a window to just like, it could be anyone from any part of the world. You give them a window and access to like either harass you, criticize you, judge you. And I've always been just like sensitive to that shit. That's why if you go on YouTube and type like my name, there's probably only one video that shows up or two.
Because you don't want the public discord on you?
I'm just always like, if you want to come see me play, you got to come see me live. I'm still very like you know how now there's like a whole wave of like video mixes.
Yeah.
I'm still very like apprehensive to all of that and hesitant to that stuff because it's a personal thing. I don't want to give people the window to like criticize me when they're not in front of me.
Fair enough. With that said, are you more attuned to like audio mixes? Even that?
Oh, absolutely. Now, although I haven't put out a mix in so long, but like even as a listener, as a consumer, I still prefer audio mixes over video mixes.
Right.
Because if I'm watching the video mix, you better be fucking doing some hand tricks or some, under the leg type shit. Otherwise, there's no point in me watching you mixing two songs together.
Yeah.
I'd rather listen to an audio mix. But anyway, so going back to the whole Z-Trip story, I remember I started off my set just by saying, I was like, oh, I don't even know how I'm going to follow that set. Like, I don't even want to play anymore. But I was like, it was kind of it was banter. I was just like,
okay.
I'm so nervous. Like, Scratch Bass is one of my goats. Like, I don't know how to play after him, but I really hope you guys just stick around and don't leave the stream and listen to my set. You know what I mean? And I played my set, was not completely happy with it, didn't go how I wanted it to go. But from a consumer standpoint, my DMs were like, killed it, did amazing.
Nice.
Chat was like moving the whole time. Everyone had great things to say. Z-Trip calls me right after and he's like, I only have one feedback. He's like, why did you do that to yourself? Like, why did you like downplay yourself? Why did you like criticize yourself before anybody else could criticize you? Why did you like preface, I don't want to follow this set because I might not be as good as the GOAT. You know what I mean?
That's true.
And it's kind of like one of those things where he was like, you need to know that people appreciate you for being exactly who you are, whether your strong suit is song selection, whether your strong suit is blending, whether your strong suit is scratching, whatever it is, people fuck with you because of that. And you need to own that. You can't like compare yourself to the DJ before you or after you who might be better at scratching, who might be better at wordplay, who might be better at tone play. Whatever their strong suits are, do not compare yourself to that. And I remember I got off that phone call and I was like, texting him and I'm like, I'm never, ever going to forget that phone call because I was like, I needed to hear that.
Yeah.
The imposter syndrome in me is so strong that it's like, why am I on a lineup with like the beat junkies when I'm not scratching like them? Why am I doing parties with my goats or my idols or my role models, my teachers, when I don't play like them? So to me, it's like, why do people gravitate towards me? And again, going back to taste, I think it just comes down to my taste, because I know my strong points are my song selection, my knowledge in music, and my taste.
Like leaning into your power.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's it. Because I'm not crazy technical with anything else. My personality, maybe, I don't know. But like, I think that the opportunities in the rooms that I've been able to be in speak for that.
Yeah. And also, you're in the room for a reason, you know?
Yeah.
Because you belong.
But again, like, imposter syndrome is like real, right?
Yeah.
I've had like really like shout out to my mentors like Melody and Z Trip. I've had countless conversations with them where they literally will just sit me and be like, you're in these rooms for a reason. You're at this table for a reason. The whole like, I'm not good enough thing, it needs to stop. You know what I mean? I mean, I still have that. I still go through that. I still get nervous. I still get butterflies in my stomach. I still like shit my pants, not literally, before a gig. But like, I feel like now I'm a little more confident in the sense of like, I've put in my time. I've worked on my credibility. I've done my fair share of work where now I can like pop out and show out. Like, I can talk my shit, you know?
Yeah. And you've proven it to yourself, it seems like. So that confidence is coming from within and not like external sources.
That's exactly a great way to put it. It didn't matter if like people on the outside were telling me, you've done it, like you should be proud of yourself. I needed to see that for myself.
Yes.
Like, I needed to prove it to myself. Like, you've done this and that. And I think the only like substantial thing that showed me that is time. Is like realizing, damn, I've been doing this for 15 years. Like, I probably should like pat myself on the shoulder and give myself a little more credit than I allow myself to appreciate.
Right. And I could
know?
imagine it meaning more to you being that you proved it to yourself, because if you rely on that from other sources or just, you know, people in general, you're always going to need that, you know, reassurance from them.
Exactly.
Versus needing it from yourself.
Exactly.
Seems like way better to get it from yourself.
Oh, absolutely. Even like with like my parents, like to this day, they'll tell me if I sounded like shit.
Oh shit. So
They'll tell me like this. They come to my gigs here and there, and like they're my biggest critics, and I'm blessed because they've obviously seen the progression in the last, you know, more than a decade. So they know if I'm on point, and they know when I'm not on point. And thankfully so, because like sometimes, again, if my parents think that I sounded like shit, that's like my biggest like feels like my biggest failure for the day, for the weekend, because I'm always trying to impress my parents, because their ear like
they're musicians.
they're musicians. Like they know what a good DJ sounds like. They know what I sound like when I'm good. They know what I sound like when I'm not into it. So like I always need my parents to like, you know, get me back in shape and be like, you're getting a little lazy. The sets are starting to sound a little stale. You know, only they would know that because they've seen the progression.
It seems like it's good that they're that way, because some parents don't do that. They just tell their kid like everything.
Soft parenting.
Yeah, exactly. And I also
my parenting is their parenting is the complete opposite of soft parenting. But I'm not complaining. Oh my god, not complaining at all.
it made you who you are today, and it sounds like you value their opinion, because I think there's something to be said about taking advice from certain people and not really like listening to you know, the noise of maybe the public.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So looking forward, what are you focused on the rest of this year, next year? Like, what are some forward thinking like goals for you?
I mean, short-term goals, you had Tony Handsome on.
Yeah.
Short-term goals, we're working on really just like pushing our party outside of our home, which we do it at Lock and Key. We've been trying to do like more out-of-state stuff.
Okay.
And like really, again, it's one of those things, going back to like me starting that party with Bret Hart pre-pandemic, Tony and I are very firm believers of like, we don't need to do too much. We let us, like, our work and our personalities and our authenticity speak for ourselves. Like people come to our shit because they genuinely just fuck with us. Like, And I think we work well together because the Virgo in me is the one that's very like on time, very fucking over analytical, very nervous. Like, are we gonna have a good turnout today? Tony's the bro, chill, like relax, like woosah, like we're gonna have a great party. And even if it's not great, we're gonna have a good time. Like that's his personality. So we work so well together in that sense. And again, like us throwing that party, I hate to say, but it's really just based off of like our vibe. Like people fuck with us because we genuinely are just like, hate to say, but we're a good fucking vibe.
Yeah, he told me that you guys are like in another life you would be his sister.
No,
or something.
literally.
Yeah.
Like you show up to our party and like you would feel like you're literally just hanging out with us. There's nothing else to it other than like if you've hung out with us outside of our party, you will most likely come to our party because you're going to get the exact same energy from us.
Yeah, because he's also authentically himself too.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it
Right.
comes out in that way where you guys are both meshing together.
Yeah. So I guess, yeah, short-term goals, just like trying to get Had to Be at 404 out there, like to more curated parties outside of the city or outside of the state. Other than that, I'm still literally just DJing. I feel like, again, like through the last like 15 years, there's been other opportunities that I probably could have like grabbed and like had like overnight success in, like even something as little as like producing music. I keep coming back to wanting to produce for the simple fact that I want both things to go hand in hand. I want to be both a DJ and producer, but then I realize every time I try to get into it, I fall right out. And my head's just not fully in it.
Why do you think that is?
And I think that's because I really am just like I need to be in front of people. The reason I love doing this thing is because I feed off of other people's energy. And you could not lock me in a studio for hours working on music. It's just not my thing. My outlet is I need to be in front of people. I need to feel energy. I need you to give me energy and I need to give you that energy back. Like that's literally my knack and my fucking talent and my hobby, my pastime, my favorite thing to do. Like I love being in a room full of people that love music. And that's like my drug. That's my high.
Yeah, knowing yourself is important too, though, because I think a lot of people would say that, oh, this is the next step for me to produce music. And you knowing that that's not what your maybe strong suit is or just doesn't match who you are as a person is really important. So you don't waste your time trying to do something that's not really yourself.
Right.
You know?
And again, like I hate like just being a prisoner of my own, like I need to be like stuck on this timeline and it has to go exactly how I want it to go when I know in fact that nothing goes the way you plan.
Yeah.
You know, like I said, my vision board changes every other 2 years. So if I told you what I wanted to do now in the next fucking 5 years, it's not going to be the same maybe tomorrow when I wake up.
That's true.
So I'm literally just like, my goal is live in the moment, but not live in the moment like being idle. I want to make sure that everything that I do has 100% of my effort into it.
Yeah.
I don't do anything half-ass. And that's why like a lot of people will ask me like, well, I haven't been doing any of the video mixes since that's like the wave right now. I'm sitting on so many video mixes that I'm just
Are
like,
you really?
Yes, because now it's a thing where like you show up to a gig and they already have the cameras set up.
Oh, they do now.
They don't even tell you. They don't
Like,
even warn you.
It's not yours. It's
No, they don't even warn you like, hey, mind you, we're recording your mix, not only just the audio, but also video. They don't even warn you no more. You just show up and there's videos and they'll send it to you at the end of the gig. Like,
oh shit.
And I'll be like, I didn't even know you were recording. Or they're streaming the entire thing live on Twitch.
Wow.
I've just learned to accept it. The first couple times it happened, I was like, you probably should be telling DJs that.
Yeah.
Because I get nervous when it comes to shit like that. I don't want anyone listening to my shit. Like,
To get the permission of the DJs.
you need my permission.
Yeah.
But now I'm like, it happens literally at every event. So I've just learned to get over it. But yeah, like they'll ask me like, hey, why don't you put any of these videos up? Why don't you have a YouTube channel? Tony's been trying to get me into it. He's been recording my sets everywhere. And I'm just like, I'm so neurotic about that shit. Like, I feel like if it's not perfect and if I feel like it's not 100% me, and if I feel like I didn't have like my full undivided effort into it, I'm not putting it out there. Whether it's audio mixes on SoundCloud, YouTube, again, like everything about me is very like, I'm a perfectionist. It needs to be
Yeah.
like on point, or I don't want to give anyone access to that shit.
That's respectable.
But again, I feel like the fucking theme of this pod so far has been blessing and a curse. Like, it's a curse in a sense of like, I'm too in my head, where people have told me you're like robbing yourself of like opportunities because you're holding yourself back, and you're sitting on all of this content. You're sitting on all of this, like, just put it out there.
Yeah.
Content is king. Put it out there. Someone's going to pick it up. Someone's going to love it. And I know that. I know that there will be a consumer that's going to be like, this is fucking amazing. Blows my mind. But to me, it's like, no, that's true. But I am selfish in a sense of like, if I don't feel like it's perfect and it's to my standards, I'm keeping it to myself.
And that's more important, is your own take on it, I think.
It
at
is,
least.
because then, okay, what's gonna happen if I put this this video up on YouTube? I can guarantee you, I'm not going to sleep tonight.
Oh, yeah, it's not worth it.
Watching that shit over and over again, refreshing the fucking comments, like, it's not worth it to me. The mental jail is not worth it to me. And I'm sorry to say, what's that fucking lyric? I'm a Erykah Badu. I'm an artist and I'm sensitive about my shit. I can't not be. I wish I wasn't. That's my curse. I wish I wasn't. It has its pros and cons, but it is what it is.
Well,
like,
at least quality shit's gonna come out though, and things that you're actually comfortable with.
if shit does come out, at
Yeah,
this point,
that's
I'm just
true.
like, oh my God.
Well, it must be an interesting line to toe between like you being comfortable with something and not putting it out. Because also, if you put something out that you're not comfortable with, I feel like maybe as an audience member, you can feel like something being forced, or you can feel something being half-assed. So there's something to be said about you not wanting to like put something out there like that for the audience. But also, there is something to be said about the other end that you're speaking about with getting out of your comfort zone.
Right.
And because what if you're holding yourself back on something that could end up, being very fruitful for yourself?
No, that's true. And I remember I was just preaching about it during the top of the year. I was like telling my followers, I was like, you guys got to hold me accountable. I'm sitting on so much content that I know my followers and my consumers would very much appreciate. And the giver and the people pleaser in me is like, I need to give them this. But then I'm like, fast forward to now, I'm like, actually, no, because also in the same sense, I could say that the reason I've gotten this far in my career is that I've always been the perfectionist, or the, like, I'm a purist in my own fucking product. As in, like, I'm not putting out anything that's half-assed. I'm not putting out anything that I'm not 100% confident in. You know what I mean? So, like, now fast forward to now, I'm like, I always tell myself, I'm like, no, I got this far with that mindset. I'm going to maintain it and continue it, because so far that formula has been working for me.
As you should. Yeah. Why would you try to listen to somebody else's blueprint?
Right. Because then again, I think it's just a matter of like not wanting to be left out in the times.
Yeah.
Where like now everything is just like, everything has to be on video.
Yeah. What do you think about like the TikTok DJs and like this whole new era of stems, and anybody could kind of be a DJ? I seen some tweets, sister.
I did tweet something about like no more new DJs, please.
Yeah.
And again, I got some replies on that were just like, there's also DJs who want to do, who were doing this like with the right intention. And that's why I corrected myself. I'm like, with the right intention, if you know that you're doing it to contribute to the art and the community, absolutely, we need you. We need new DJs with that mindset. But I'm like, but the ones that are literally doing this shit just for a quick fucking clickbait, for clout, for views, you always know which ones it is too.
Yeah.
I don't support that shit. And then it got to a point where I'm like, damn, am I starting to sound like when I was coming up, there were old heads that were like, fuck these new DJs, fuck these new cats, fuck these DJs on Serato. Like, you don't know how to blend on vinyls. You know what I mean? But then when I first learned how to DJ, I learned on Serato. And because I was hearing shit like that from my idols, people that I looked up to, my role models, it forced me to get on vinyls and learn how to fucking beat match on vinyls.
Foundations.
I fucked off on Serato and was like, you know what? I'm gonna lock myself in the room and learn how to beat match on vinyls. And I did that. And I needed to do that so that I was confident in the fact that I respected the craft.
Yeah.
I respected my teachers. I contributed to the art in the community. And I know that I went about it the right way with respect to the craft.
Yeah.
So that now when I catch myself thinking, am I being like the bitter older DJ who is like super against like getting with the times? Sometimes I do think that, but then I'm like, no, because if I didn't speak up on this shit, who the fuck is contributing to like the maintenance of DJing in like, I don't know how to explain that. Like, it's just like, it's the right balance between like preserving real DJing and accepting like the modern times.
Yeah, well, DJing is an art. So it's like preserving that art and culture is very important. There has to be standards. It's just like any other art. Like you can't just do anything or else the whole culture kind of drops.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's why I always say I will judge and stereotype a new DJ unfortunately, based on who their idols are, based on who they learned from, based on who their first introduction to DJing like were or was.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like if, like to me, it's like, okay, how about this? The most tired discourse on DJ Twitter, opening DJ etiquette.
Opening DJ etiquette.
Right?
Yeah.
The most tired fucking discourse is between who cares if the opener DJ is playing all bangers. If you're a great DJ, you can pick up and do your thing. Versus, no, like, you need to learn basic fundamentals and etiquette for an opener DJ. I'm on that side.
Yeah.
Because like, to me, it's like, that's how I judge whether you respect the fundamentals of being a great DJ or not, whether you learned the traditional way or whether you respect the whole community as a new DJ. I'm definitely judging you based off of your opinion on that.
Okay.
Because it doesn't matter if you can kill it in an opening set or in a headlining set. If you're fucking playing Travis Scott or whatever the fuck at 10 p.m., all that tells me is that you haven't put in enough time. You probably haven't DJed enough clubs to have any fucking experience. And 3, you don't respect the rest of the night.
Yeah.
You don't respect the rest of the DJs on the lineup. Like I really don't like I've gone in so many arguments with other DJs on Twitter over this shit who will be like, no, I don't care if the whole like the DJs playing No Hands or Work ASAP Ferg at like 10:30 p.m. And they'll be like, that song is literally fucking like 8 years old at this point. You can kill it if you want to. And I'm like, no, I know I can. I'm just saying that the etiquette fucking matters. It's respect to the DJ after you. And it's like how you put yourself out as a DJ. Do you want people to think that you're a rookie? Like you don't.
Yeah.
Like I definitely believe in like preserving and maintaining the basic fundamentals of being a good DJ, whether you're an opener, a headliner, or a closing DJ.
Yeah.
Like, can we preserve the art? Because there is still an art to that shit.
Yeah.
I don't believe in the whole like to each its own or out for oneself mentality. Like if there's 4 of us on a lineup, we're all working to curate the entire night together, the entire vibe of the night. There's the whole like selfish mindset. It's like so very like new DJ shit. Like new DJs are so fucking selfish. They want to sound great in their set with no regards to the DJ after, with no regards to the vibe of the entire night. You're building the vibe, right? You go up to build it up for the headliner, and then you maintain it, and then come down a little bit. Like that's the art to creating a vibe for the entire night.
Yeah.
And if you don't know that, to me, 1, you're selfish, and 2, you're a rookie. That's it.
Yeah, I agree.
You didn't spend enough time learning. You didn't spend enough time like studying DJs outside in clubs before you started. Like to me, that's all it says. It says everything about you as a DJ if you do or don't respect your time slot.
So the etiquette is a huge thing for you.
Etiquette is a huge fucking thing. Like I wish we preserved that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But now it's just all about like, again, like ego.
Yeah, the me and what do I want to play.
Right.
And it's like if there are no standards, it's just the wild, wild west. Anything could go.
Right now, it is the wild, wild west.
Yeah.
And that's why like the whole, like, I'm not against like the TikTok DJs, but I think post-pandemic, I've been on lineups with, I hate to call them TikTok DJs because some of them really are amazing. There's some really talented ones. But there are some that are like, you could tell that they're TikTok DJs because they have, again, no experience in DJing in nightclubs. It comes down to Are you playing your time slot tastefully? Or are you playing your time slot like Wild Wild West? Like, I'm just out for self. I don't fucking care about nothing else but me and my set and the camera in front of me and the fucking reels and TikTok clips that I'm posting out of this entire fucking set.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm very 50-50 on it, because to me, it's like, I need you to go out there more. I need you to put in a few years in order for you to even like have any experience in knowing like the fundamentals.
Yeah.
Like, I'm trying to think of like DJs that I know that like blew up on TikTok, because I'm not on TikTok.
Yeah. One that did, that's actually like a real DJ and just like blew the fuck up is DJ Precise. Like he's like
Precise is fucking sick though.
Yeah,
he's been a
exactly.
DJ,
but he used it as a tool in the right
exactly,
way. Like,
exactly,
to garner a new audience.
absolutely.
And, yeah.
But there's definitely TikTok DJs that you're like, I've played with them in real clubs, and I'm just like, yeah, you definitely have just been in your bedroom.
Yeah. There's a lot.
Not no disrespect, but like, you've definitely just been in your bedroom, because you're not DJing like a real DJ out in the real world.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, there is a thing, and you can differentiate a DJ that's just been in their bedroom as opposed to a DJ that's been out and experiencing, having all of these experiences from good nights to bad nights. You know what I mean?
And I could imagine being like an established DJ like yourself or other DJs and receiving that as disrespectful, because I think something we talked about off camera too is that it's okay to take on a hobby and not label yourself as that profession, because to me it comes off as like disrespectful to people who are actually taking it serious and have been in the game for a long time. Like, there's nothing wrong with you like DJing and trying to be a DJ and like learning the craft, but for you to just like think that you can jump into something and be like a quote unquote professional at it, to me is a little bit like disrespectful to people, to establish
It is.
DJs.
And they're selfish. They have like huge egos. They don't even like pay respects to their predecessors. Like, they don't pay respects to the people that paved the way, the DJs that like taught them, the DJs that broke the glass ceiling for them, you know?
Yeah.
Like, obviously now there's an insane amount of female DJs, but when I was coming up, like I said, like the glass ceiling was definitely still there. There were a lot of opportunities that we couldn't have, that we were robbed of, like, but now it's like, it's amazing. I so in love with the fact that like any girl, woman could just like wake up tomorrow and be like, I'm going to be a DJ because I can.
Yeah.
And
they look up to people like you know?
And it's not a male dominated field anymore.
No.
You know what I mean? And I love
women
that.
DJs that are killing it.
Oh my God,
all
so
levels
fucking many.
too.
So
At
many.
every single level.
Yes. Also, sorry, going back to like just TikTok DJs who I respect and I think like are great DJs. Off the top of my head, Honeybee and Lex
Ooh, yeah.
made a great platform for themselves. And I have respect for them because they're actually like great DJs. They're like talented DJs, real musicians. They care about that shit.
I know Honeybee. I don't know Lex, so I'll have to peep her.
Lex, and I didn't even know how young she was. She's fucking killing it. Like, that type of shit makes me fucking proud, because it's like you created your own platform, you created your own audience, and you're a real DJ. You're not, it's not just, you're viral, but you're also talented as fuck. You're not just like a clickbait.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And it sounds like they're doing things their own way and not
Absolutely.
trying
to. And again, like, there's great DJs, but there's also some that I'm just like, you guys have no fucking respect to the fucking craft. Like, put the controller down.
Yeah.
Go find something else to exploit, because that's what you're doing. You're exploiting something that you see is getting hella fucking views on social media, but you don't fucking give a fuck about this shit.
It needs to be talked about more, because I feel like
Especially now, because again, like especially now, only because there's literally like, I don't even know if it's a divide, because now it's just like, they don't even respect the history.
Yeah.
Like, when I was coming up, I needed to know the fucking history, or my fucking uncle, rest in peace, Uncle Nez. My uncle would be like, you're whack. That's not going to fly.
Yeah.
You know? Like, when I was coming up, I've had DJs talk shit to me and be like, dude, you suck. Get back in the room and learn more. And that made me want to become a better DJ. That made me want to learn the history. That made me want to like watch like my role models and go out there. Like, there was no selfish bone in my body, no ego in my body when I was learning how to DJ. Like, I paid my respects. I went to go see the DJs that I looked up to. you know what I mean? Like I shook hands with everybody. Now it's just like so ego driven.
I wonder what the source of things changing is. If it's social media,
Probably
if
social
it's-
media.
Yeah, if it's things becoming more accessible, easier.
It's definitely social media. It's like I have a fucking, I don't know, I have 100K followers. I don't need your approval, whether you think I'm a good DJ or not.
That's a good point. They don't seek it from
No.
the OGs.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Okay. Speaking of that, how do you want to be remembered as a DJ or just as a musician, a creative?
Oh my God. Great question. Only because I feel like we spent the entire, how long have we been talking?
Like an hour and a half at this point.
I feel like we spent the entire hour and a half, me just like going back to authenticity. And I always say that it sounds so cliche because everyone always talks about being real and being authentic, but like not everybody's work speak for that. Like I could sit here and be like, I'm so authentic, I'm so real in my shit, but like, does my work show that?
Yeah.
And again, like I say that because when people have like sent me letters, talked to me in person, shook hands with me, like, and told me like, I love that you've literally just been exactly who you are. I know what to expect out of a Bella set. Like, I know what kind of personality I'm going to get because it's always been consistent. It's always been literally just me. I didn't have to maintain anything else. I don't have to come up with a new identity for branding. I'm just literally me. So I guess how I want to remember it is she's exactly who she's always been. Like, what you see is what you get. Like, I never had to be anybody. Even if it took me way longer, it's okay. Because, again, like what I told you, like, consistency was always my goal.
Yeah.
I always wanted a consistent, like, career. And to me, that meant, like, just not compromising, like, who I truly was.
Yeah.
Like, even when it wasn't cool. Like, I always say, dude, it wasn't always cool for me to be, like, the young fucking DJ playing classics and old school shit. Like, doing, like, I remember, do you remember Snapback and the Snapback parties?
Snapback parties.
Yeah, they had it in Long Beach and in NoHo.
Nah, I wasn't really in Long Beach back then.
Oh, right. So Snapback was basically, shout out to Snapback, like probably top 3 parties for me of all time. They do like one-offs now, but they don't exist anymore. They do, so it's an old school party. And it's just, I used to play their parties even before I turned, I think like as young as like 20. Is when I first did their party.
Is it kind of like a Low End Theory or like a do-over type of?
No, this one was, I feel like Low End Theory was very like beat, eclectic, sound driven. This one was very literally just like oldies and classics and throwbacks.
That's literally the genre.
Yes.
Okay, got you.
And I remember like I was 20 playing Snapback parties, and I would have like my peers or like my friends who would be like, bro, that shit ain't cool. We're not going to that. Why the fuck are you doing these old head parties? They would literally say that. They'd be like, why aren't you doing the cool parties? Like, why aren't you doing so-and-so or whatever? And I'd be like, no, this is what's cool to me though. Like a party that my fucking parents can come to, a party where like, you know, like my role models can like hear me play a set that they could play and then be like, what the fuck do you know about this shit? I always got such a kick out of like, you know, my idols being like, you weren't even born when this shit was around. And I would always, I was always just so proud of being like, yeah, but I was around it because of my parents.
Yeah.
Like, this is what I grew up listening to. Like, that's always what I gravitated to. Like, I always knew my soul was way older than my actual age. So, like, even when my friends would be like, bro, this shit is so, like, stop doing the old head shit. Like, go do some cooler shit, some, like, younger shit. Be, like, hip or whatever. I didn't listen to that shit. I was always just like, no, I'm staying true to what I enjoy, what I like, and what I was exposed to.
And it takes courage to do that.
Yeah.
You know?
And at the time, again, like, I feel like, yeah, that might have robbed me of like opportunities or like quicker climb to fame or popularity, but I did not give a fuck. Like, to me, street cred was more important than like fame or popularity or like quick, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, street credibility or just credibility in general was always way more important to me. I wanted my idols, my teachers, my role models to like hear my set and like at the end of that set, give me a dap pound and be like, that shit was fucking sick. As opposed to like my peers, like, you know, friends my age be like, oh shit, you're playing that fucking cool ass party, put me on a guest list. Like, damn, my fucking friends on that lineup, like how cool. Like, no, I always gravitated towards like an older crowd. Even when I was younger, I always had older friends. Like, my soul was just like way beyond like my actual age. And I feel like that's what made me like who I am.
And unfortunately, I think that's a lost art in today's world, because not only do you have kids and upcoming DJs who their friends are giving them that same pressure, but now there's like social media in it. So they're getting like, well, this isn't going to get any engagement, likes, views.
I feel like that's why they don't care about like the real history, right? Of like the art. Like that's lost on people. They don't, it's just all about like, again, like social media shit.
Yeah. Well, last of a dying breed. It's good that you still have that in your own.
That's why I'm like, sometimes I have to like stop myself and think like, am I starting to sound like an old head? But then I'm like, no, like this is me advocating for how I came up and me preserving it. Cause I want people that are coming up right now. It's not gonna inspire everybody.
Yeah.
But I know even if it inspires one or two that are listening to this shit that are coming up, that I've only been DJing for a couple years or whatever, that's good enough for me.
Yeah.
Because like when I was coming up, it was the same shit for me. It's like, it didn't matter to me. Like I wanted approval from like my role models.
Yeah, it is important.
You know, not like my peers who wanted like the coolest fucking parties to go to.
Yeah, and I feel like that established something in you today, and the person you are, the DJ you are, you know, all of it.
Yeah, I hope so.
Yeah, I think it has. And yeah, we'll end on that. I feel like we could go another like 2 hours.
We fucking can. And I didn't even get to finish my wine. This is so surprising.
Can we get a little chug to the end on camera? The Cabernet Sauvignon to the end. Appreciate you. Yeah, cheers to that last drop.
Thank you for having me. That was so fun.
Absolutely, yeah.
I really do appreciate how conversational that was. I haven't done a podcast in a couple of years.
Yeah.
For that reason.
Because you don't want
I don't want things to just be like by the book and just like bullet points, you know? Mm-hmm. So this was good.
I appreciate that. Yeah. I don't want it to feel like a forced interview either. Like it's no fun for me in that aspect either.
And fun fact for people who are listening, this is our first time meeting.
Yeah.
Our first time having a conversation.
Yeah.
He did not preface anything at all.
No.
Which is what makes for a great conversation.
I appreciate that. Thank you. And I think a lot of your mindset and the way you approach your creative, you know, career and just your own personality resonates a lot with me, and also just admirable. Like you open my eyes to a lot of different ways of how to view something, and then also just to the way how like your actual self and your perception is different than what is perceived online. And I could see that, you know, in that conversation that we had.
I appreciate that.
Yeah. Absolutely. Where can people follow you? Where can people find you if they want to?
At DJ Fiasco and everything on Instagram, Twitter, maybe not, because I do get a little carried away on there.
Okay.
SoundCloud, Mixcloud, Twitch, literally everything is at DJ Fiasco.
Okay. I'm excited to continue to follow you and your journey and see, where you end up going, because I know you said consistency is a huge thing for you right now, and I don't see any signs of you slowing down. I only see you.
Oh, I'd love to hear that, and I hope not, because that's the plan.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, with that, we'll end it. This is Creative Ambiance with Levi and Bella Fiasco. We'll catch you next time. We'll definitely need a round 2 in the near future.
We will, and the round 2 will be just us talking shit.
Yeah.
This was pretty subdued, in my opinion. We'll do like tequila in our conversation next one.
Take a shot before the conversation.
Literally. And we cannot have Tony in the room, because that will be fucking...
I was going to say, maybe we could have both of you guys on.
Oh, no. Me and Tony will just talk shit the whole time.
All right, then. With that, we'll see you guys next time. Peace.